For my microculture share and tell presentation, I picked women in engineering. I picked my microculture to be women in engineering because I am majoring in biomedical engineering with aspirations to graduate college and work in industry. A challenge that I have encountered is that men tend to dominate this field. Whether it's the classroom, the laboratory, or at my internship, I've always noticed that I am one of few, if not the only women in the room or on the team. In high school, 21% of males took engineering classes while only 8% of females did. Then in college, women's participation in science and engineering significantly differed by the field of study. Only 20% of college degrees attained by women were in engineering. The other 80% came from computer science, 18%, biological sciences, 39%, and mathematics, 43%. Women make up about half of the total U.S. educated college workforce, but women only make up 15% of the engineering workforce. There has to be a reason as to why women are more hesitant to join the engineering field. In high school, women and men performed equally well in mathematics and science on standardized tests. But when women go to college, we see a shift in their interests and they're less willing to study engineering. Is it the fear of joining a male-dominated major, or do these classes seem less appealing to them? Or does engineering not line up with their interests, such as career plans, graduate schools, law schools, med school, etc.? As an outcome of less women studying engineering, there's a significantly higher amount of men fulfilling these jobs in the workforce. To pinpoint the values of women in engineering, I looked at the beliefs and values of a club that I am part of at school that is a widespread organization across universities in America. This organization is called Society of Women Engineers, which unites women at universities with other women who are also studying engineering. It does not matter what specific type of engineering you are, as long as you are an engineering major. At Clemson, they bring in women engineers that work in the workforce to talk about their role in the company, how we can be successful as engineers, and what it's like for them to be a woman working in the field. An added perk to this program is that most of the companies are within an hour drive of our campus, so internship opportunities often become available. The first value of this organization is professional excellence. This means acting professional within club meetings, campus events, and so on to help prepare engineers for the business world. The next value is integrity, which means being honest in all professional relationships and responsibilities. The third value is inclusive environment. Since being a woman in engineering is a microculture, this organization strives to create a space where this microculture is the norm. Even though diversity still exists within the club and other microcultures may appear, the boundaries that come with this microculture are broken and exposed. The fourth value of this club is mutual support. Since everyone in this club has the shared experience of being a woman in engineering, we are expected to support each other. We provide mentoring, professional events, one-on-one with executive members, and so on. All of these opportunities allow everyone to feel comfortable and supported within this organization. The last value is trust, and to me this is the most important value that can be carried with us past our college careers and into the real world. For this organization, everyone is transparent and shares information with one another. We build mutual respect and confidence in one another. When working in the real world, I hope that I am able to develop trust in other women engineers so that I can work with them in order to break down the walls of our shared microculture. There are many other values besides these one that this organization focuses on. Whether it be teamwork, collaboration, education, and so on, there are other values that I have picked up from my internship, research, and classroom experiences. The obvious trait about this microculture of women in engineering is that it is comprised of women. The characteristics of this microculture described by characteristics that any engineer may have. This includes having an interest in science, engineering, and mathematics. You also have to be hardworking, as the course load in college is very rigorous and there's a lot you have to learn and understand in the workforce. Engineering as a whole is built on working in teams and being able to use other people's ideas while contributing to your own project. So being collaborative and team-oriented is very important. The way men and women communicate in everyday life are very different, and these same communication styles carry over into the engineering field. Men are more likely to communicate as a way to maintain their status and independence. Women communicate in order to create and maintain relationships. This creates a divide in the workplace as men are always working their way up in companies to have higher status, make more money, and so on. While women may try to do this as well, they more often find themselves trying to build professional relationships despite how it may benefit them in the future. In an environment where men are already overpowering women in numbers, this creates yet another disadvantage for this microculture. Men see communication as a way to negotiate power, seek wins, and avoid failures. Women see communication as a way to get closer, seek understanding, and find equality. Yet again, this style of communication allows men to put themselves in positions of promotion and success, while women spend their time making more genuine relationships with their coworkers. Women use facial expressions more when communicating and tend to smile more than men. These facial expressions can include head nodding and eye contact, which are both positive uses of this, but that also comes with eye rolling and eyebrow raising, which may be perceived as negative. Men prefer speaking face-to-face with one another, while women prefer more side-by-side conversations. These side-by-side conversations may come off as less professional in a workplace setting, which puts women at a disadvantage. Or being forced into a face-to-face conversation with a man may make the woman less comfortable, which ends up putting the man at the advantage. Here are some facts about women in engineering. Over 32% of women switch out of a STEM program in college. Only 30% of women who earn a bachelor's degree in engineering are still working in engineering 20 years later. Most women obtain a degree in either mechanical, chemical, and biomedical engineering in that order. Female engineers earn 90 cents for every $1 male engineers earn. Only 17% of tenured or tenure-track faculty in engineering are women. I belong to the microculture of women in engineering. This field is to be considered a microculture because women are less represented in engineering in both college and the workplace, despite coming out of high school with the same interests and scores in math and science as men. This microculture shows values of trust, inclusive environment, and professional excellence among many more. The common trait among this microculture is the fact that everyone is a woman, and the characteristics of this microculture are comprised of what makes a successful engineer. In order to change this microculture, we have to ask ourselves, how do we get more women involved in engineering? And once we do that, how do we keep them in it? I believe this begins with educating women from a young age that women and men are equally intelligent and are able to achieve goals with hard work and dedication. Also, everyone should have the opportunity to be exposed to STEM fields in early education throughout middle school and especially in high school. Instilling these beliefs in young children and exposing them to these educational fields at a young age and keeping them involved with them throughout their years will set them up for success. Once we expose younger girls to STEM and continue keeping them involved through middle school and high school, how do we ensure that these students will major in engineering? High schools should conduct surveys and ask for students' feedback on the major they chose, what other options they have looked at, and what their career plans are. Understanding why women choose their major is important to understanding why they might not want to enter engineering. Maybe engineering was a second or third option to them, but ultimately it did not align with their career goals. Also, colleges should conduct surveys for women in engineering. For one, they should be making sure that these women are comfortable in the learning environment, that they are being given the same opportunities as the men, and so on. They should also receive feedback from women who changed their major from engineering to enter a different field of study. Did they continue with a STEM education, or did they completely change what they wanted to do? And why did they make this change? Lastly, they should receive feedback from women who entered engineering to see how they have adapted to this new microculture. Is it what they expected? Do they understand what this microculture entails? Receiving all of this feedback may just allow more women to continue studying engineering throughout college and their professional career. I hope that you all have been able to learn some new information about the microculture of women in engineering. Although this microculture comes with some obstacles, I'm proud to be a part of it. Being a biomedical engineering major has allowed me to follow my passion of entering the medical field and improving patients' lives.